So, as you can see, I am surrounded by Meta Quest 2 headsets for my new My Meta college course at University of St. Thomas. It's part of an expansion of our Microsoft Epic My Meta program, which focuses on the metaverse, augmented and virtual reality, mixed reality, and all of the cool things in between. Including AI, artificial intelligence. I'm going to address a few things. One, why these Meta headsets and why right now. And one thing I want to highlight is the incredible availability and accessibility of these headsets relative to previous iterations of the headsets, where in the past, having Oculus, you also had to have a pretty powerful, maybe a gaming laptop, a Dell or a Lenovo laptop that could drive that device in order for it to work effectively. And a regular Surface Pro, for instance, was not compatible, and it was not strong enough to drive that VR headset. These new Meta headsets, the new version of the Oculus that sort of transitioned to Meta, is actually much more powerful, and they're entirely self-contained. You can use them with or without a computer. So I've still got to run tests on them. I haven't used them much myself, but they supposedly they get enhanced performance when you use them with a computer, but you can also use them standalone and use them with games directly. So that makes them perfect for college classes where you can't, I can't buy a laptop for every student, and I can't expect them to have a high-end gaming laptop either. So that's why I chose these headsets. I'm excited to bring them into class tomorrow and let the students play with them. But I want to talk a little more generally about why Metaverse. I taught for many years at Rice University in the Engineering Leadership Program. I'm now at University of St. Thomas in communication. And so you may wonder, why are you in a communication program teaching emergent technology, Metaverse, augmented reality, virtual reality? And I'm going to sort of break it down and give you three primary reasons. One is that with recent advances, ChatGPT, a lot of the AI visualization technology, being able to map and simulate not only human voice, affect, faces, but also to be able to generate conversations. These things are going to be pervasive. So we're going to be seeing more and more of this in our world. And what that means is there are going to be a lot of new jobs that arise out of this. A lot of the pre-existing jobs are going to transform and change dramatically because you're going to be able to use these generative text AIs to do a lot of the sort of menial tasks that you might have been doing on the job before, which to me is exciting because it frees you up to do things that are a little bit more fun than writing memos. So that's number one. Number two is, a lot of people are afraid of where artificial intelligence is going. And, I can't say that I'm not maybe part of that problem. I show the movie Terminator in my Metaverse class because I think it's absolutely essential to think through the socio-cultural implications, where these things could go, and how they could have an adverse or a negative effect on our lives and society, so that we can have the kind of impetus to get ahead of that and use them in positive, transformative ways. So for all the people out there that are fearful, I say that's legitimate, but let's take that fear off the table, because I'm a strong believer that adversity always creates a space for opportunity, and I'm much more interested personally in focusing on the opportunities than I am focusing on the negativity and the adversity. So that's reason number two. And reason number three is that knowledge is power. And whether or not you think you're going to be working, maybe using or working in the metaverse, whether or not you think it's going to be impacting you, I can assure you that it will, even if it's something that it's affecting your kids and maybe they're using it. It's affecting your employer because they're making work-related decisions based on these technologies. It is inescapable that these technologies will impact your life significantly and increasingly over the next 5 to 10 years. So the more that you know, the more you're able to navigate that and figure out where your space is in this emergent AI, AR, VR, mixed reality, meta world that we're going to be entering. So there's a lot of new forms of commerce, business. It's going to transform a lot of social experience, but even things like policy, law. Soon you will be able to see a psychologist in the metaverse. Where's that person going to be licensed? Maybe they're connecting with you virtually from Dubai through servers in Taiwan, through Microsoft Azure, through a cloud-based system controlled by Microsoft, which is a multinational, international corporation that functions in many different countries. So you can see that it's not as cut and dry. You're not going to be seeing that local psychologist that's regulated by your state or even your federal government. These things are going to be much more complex as we move forward. And so knowledge is power, and you don't know what you don't know. So the more that you try to educate yourself on all of these new emergent technologies and understand how they work, and at least develop what I call a cocktail party level of understanding. And what I mean by that is if you go to a cocktail party and you're talking to somebody who works in this space, that you don't leave feeling like an idiot. It's as simple as that. And I think that basic cocktail party level understanding will allow you to figure out where your space is with all of these technologies. And this is why I named my program Microsoft My Meta. It's all about you or me. It's the I, the my, the me in the meta. Where do you fit into this new emergent, digital, virtual, interconnected universe that is going to be coming out in the next, like I said, 5 to 10 years. And for those of you that didn't know, it is anticipated, I believe Citigroup actually released a white paper anticipating this to generate an $8 to $12 trillion economy by 2030. So we're about 7 years away from the metaverse becoming the third largest economy on the planet, under the US and China. We're the only other two economies on the planet larger in scale than the metaverse will be within the next 10 years. So with the notion that knowledge is power, you don't know what you don't know, let's get in there. Let's figure some of these things out together. Let's find our unique place. As you can see, I'm a pretty eccentric guy. It's out of focus, but behind me are my Transformers and horror movie posters and video game consoles. I'm a big fan of unapologetically embracing who you are and finding your path in the world that's unique to you. But in order to do that, you have to open all the doors so you can figure out which ones you want to walk through. And the more knowledge you get, the better equipped you are to do that. So at the end of this, my goal is to really go back to the adage that I learned as a kid from G.I. Joe. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. And that's my goal, is to get students to winning at least half of that battle by knowing what they don't know and figuring out their space in this new emergent virtual economy. So I hope some of you can join some of our online programs with Microsoft. You're always welcome to come on out to University of St. Thomas, and I'd love to have you in my classes. But wherever you're at, whether you're looking things up online, finding your own resources, going on to forums, watching YouTube videos, signing up for digital certifications, taking free online courses through Microsoft Learn, LinkedIn Learning, find some path to educate yourself on these new technologies. And feel free to reach out if you ever want any information or if I can help you in any way. As you can imagine, I'm a pretty casual guy. So you have a good one, and I'm going to go ahead and open one of these up. Let's go ahead and, I don't really do unboxings, but in this case, I'm going to make an exception. So let's see. Nice, get that cellophane off of there. Actually, I got to get reimbursed for these from the university. And I was panicking a little while ago because I had, I'm really bad with organization. I will lose my keys if they're not attached to my wallet. So I actually thought I was being brilliant. I taped the receipt to this box, and I went to take a picture of the boxes for my students to show them, hey, this is what we're going to do this week. And I removed the receipt, and as you can imagine that I might do, I randomly set it in some weird place in my house. Spent about an hour looking for it earlier. So let's see. Let me see if I can open this without tearing it up, too. There we go. Tact isn't one of my strong suits. I will do damage to some things on accident. There we go. So nice. It's amazing that an entire universe essentially fits in this box. So we've got our headset. It's pretty hefty, but it feels a little more compact than some of the first generation headsets. So it feels pretty solid. A little more ergonomically, I think, fitted than some of the original headsets that I tried. I'm a huge proponent of strong interface design. So when you have these controllers, just figuring out how they fit, how they feel to you, fit and finish. This is one of the things to me that makes Apple, even though my programs are sponsored by Microsoft, I'm a huge advocate of Microsoft products, but I think Apple does just a phenomenal job with fit, finish, and interface design, which is why they sort of cornered the market with the iPhone early on. And these actually feel really nice. So here's the right hand, here's the left hand. So we'll see once we get them in game and play with some things. But anyway, wanted to show y'all what we got, and this is what we're going to be playing with in my class tonight. And for those of you that think this is all sort of techie nerd stuff, yeah, I'm kind of a techie nerd, but I'm more of a cultural anthropologist. And the reason these things are interesting to me is because of how they're going to change our world and how we live, interact, and navigate as human beings. So one of the things that I did last week is I actually surprised my students. So they get to class and we're playing, I have a console set up, 30th anniversary Street Fighter. I've been playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all of these classic fighting games. And I'm asking them to do research. So as somebody else is playing the game, think about, why do you like this game? Why does it work? How would you improve it? What are the distinctions between these different fighting games? And I gave them the prompt that we're going to be thinking about the fighting game of the future in the metaverse. What I didn't tell them is that I was going to have some of my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors come to class. So we brought in mats. I had two of our great instructors, Chad Kite and Brian Lopez, come to class. And we actually did a live fight demo so that they could feel what it feels like. You see something in a game, you see somebody getting kicked, slammed, choked, whatever. It's a very different experience than a real life self-defense or fight scenario. So they had some triangle chokes thrown on them. They get to feel the pressure of what it's like to have a big, mean, aggressive person on top of you, trying to hold you down. And they're going to integrate that and incorporate that into their game design that they're going to pitch to us next week when we actually have Michael Kennedy from Microsoft, who's been at the forefront of this metaverse space for quite a while. Explain to him what it's feeling like as it's setting on, because I want y'all to be thinking about how to translate physical experience into a virtual simulation.
I mean, right here, you're pretty helpless. You can't really move much. Now, I mean, I can't talk much.
Can you breathe? Is it hard to breathe at that point?
It's a strain, yeah. It's pretty hard to breathe.
He's not holding tight though. As soon as he gets the leg around, it's really hard to breathe.
So as you can see, we try to have fun in class, but also, keep it educational. Thank you for joining, and feel free to follow up with me. I am going to admit I'm terrible at social media, but I'm making a concerted effort to start engaging. So feel free to follow me or connect with me, and reach out at any time. I'm super casual, and I look forward to having you join us for more shows, more programs, more events, and hopefully seeing you in one of my classes someday. Take care.